let's see. And so there's an assumption on all these standards subsequent to that paragraph that it's basically, if it's existing, it's sort of grandfathered for the rest of this section.
Right, that's something that comes from the main language relating to accessory dwelling units that we have for the rest of the city. And what we're trying to do here is create disincentives for people to build two-story structures from scratch, that we would like to see them at one story only. That way we wouldn't have the issues of loss of privacy for the neighbors and the like. And so they could have a bigger accessory dwelling unit on a single floor. You could be closer to the side property line, but again, if you're 2 stories, you're going to have a 15-foot setback from the side property line and see a reduction in the allowable square footage for your accessory dwelling unit. We thought that was a good way to do it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's good. My last one is on page 33. Oops, I'll take that back. Oh, that is my last one. My last one is on page 33. This is once again on number 4 under C. There's only one portion of the historic district that is zoned R10. That's my lot. My 2 lots.
How does this work? I mean, are you going to?
I don't know if I can vote.
Decision? Are you going to?
Well, I probably can't.
Yeah.
But
I appreciate your input.
Well, the issue is that, I'm the only person that this applies to.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I'm not quite sure why it's here.
We're just trying to cover all angles. I mean, what we're doing with this partition language, and this was encouraged, I think Mr. Awalt was anxious to see this language in there, but we're trying to avoid flag lots. We're trying to avoid irregular shaped lots. We're trying to maintain the pattern that was established when the original plats were recorded in 1895-1910 period, and so they're predominantly rectangular in shape and 5,000 square feet in size.
Well, I know, and what I'm saying is that the only place that's not at 5,000, there's only one area in the historic district that's not 5,000 square feet, and that's my lot. So that's my question, is that it seems like that we have a number 4 in there. Is it necessary? I mean, I'm not going to say take it out, but I'm just curious as to, I guess if we leave, obviously, then what you're trying to do is make sure that anybody who would then subsequently come in there and develop that land would have to have a rectangular lot that's approximately the same size. Is that what that means? I mean, the issue is that that's the only.
What we could do is break down criteria number 2, which says all new lots shall be 5,000 to 6,000 square feet in size. All lots shall have a width of 50 to 60 feet, and take that all lots shall be rectangular and have that as a separate entry. So it would apply not only to the R5 zone but also the R10 zone.
Yeah, it would seem to me that number 4 is unnecessary if you have number 2.
Yeah, I was just very confused. I mean, it just sort of felt like, well, I mean,
yeah.
All new lots should be 5,000 to 6,000 square feet. Well, does that mean that my 10,000 square foot lots need to be 5,000 to 6,000 square feet and rectangular?
No, I mean, we don't want to have that, so we want to make sure yours are still
10,000.
10,000 unless you go through a zone change.
Okay, so I guess we need to leave 4 in to protect it so that can be R10. They would still stay R10.
Right. I mean, I see it as rather benign. It just recognizes the fact your property is zoned R10, and partition of your property must respect the need to have 10,000 square foot lots and that the lots should be rectangular. It is unusual that it's your lot, and
Well, and that's why I'm saying it's awkward. But the reason I'm bringing it up is because we, at the request of the city, moved a historic structure, a barn, on our property, which is not oriented that direction. It's oriented the other direction. And so it puts a real difficult situation. If anybody were to want to develop that land in the future, they wouldn't be able to do it.
if you want to see different language,
I'm not even sure what it would be.
square lots. But,
You know what I'm talking about? I mean, you've seen our property. Basically, we have three 10,000 square foot lots. It's the only 10,000 square foot lots in the whole neighborhood, and we were asked to move a historic barn on our property, and it runs the same direction of the house, which means there's no way to do what you're saying here, physically. And maybe you and I can chat about this offline to see if there's some language, because, we're not going to live here forever. I assume at some point in time we'll die. And at that point in time, somebody will want to do something with that. And so I guess I would like to not make this so cumbersome that they would have to come in and apply for a variance. Now, maybe somebody wants to continue and buy that property and continue to have it be three lots. But maybe you and I can talk about it offline and come up with some language.
Right.
And I can draw out a little map, because the way it's written, that is physically not possible, because we actually looked at it one time to see what you could do, and like I feel, okay, we moved this barn. You all wanted it not to get destroyed.
Well, I think that might be a good idea to talk offline about that, and then when the language is finalized in here, you might have an explanation for us, because we get, as Councilor Cummings indicated, it gets a little bit uncomfortable because you are in the city council and we are voting on this. So
I figured I'd have to withdraw because I was on the little subgroup that rewrote it.
But we're still here.
Yeah.
And we have to do this, so give us a good explanation and make it comfortable.
Yeah.
I'll draw a picture.
Yeah.
Okay, draw us a picture.
I appreciate the input, and I'm, glad to hear it. I'm just curious, is this something along the lines of non-conforming lots? Is this a non-conforming lot issue?
It's usually non-conforming lots are non-conforming by virtue of the dimension, the shape of the lot, or the size that it falls below the minimum lot size.
Okay.
But we don't consider lots that are larger than the minimum lot size to be non-conforming, as long as they meet.
But it's
basic
non-conforming
dimensional.
as far as the structures in this particular set of...
I'd have to have a look at
criteria.
the aerial photos, and I think we can come up with something there.
Yeah, because it's one lot. See, the whole plat of Willamette was on the other side of the street. So the block that I'm in was one lot that was initially subdivided into 2-acre lots, which then each one of those has been subdivided subsequently, but ours is still basically 3/4 of an acre. It's not divided. It's zoned 10,000 square feet, but it's never been divided. And so if we have, not like I said, we don't have any plans to divide it, but I'm trying to protect the value of the property for future, so that we don't have an odd situation where the structures literally on the property will not meet this definition.
Okay.
So I'll look at it with Peter and see and then I'll draw a map and you guys can have it.
Okay.
That's all.